Hey guys, what's up? I'm Indigestion, and this is the second part of the GUI making video tutorial. And today we're going to be covering a bit more on building the GUI. Maybe we'll finish today. I don't know if we'll have time though. So we had our GUI. If you can't remember what the GUI was all about, we had our window, and in our window we had a button with which we started the script, and we also had a combo box, which is a drop-down list box, which we used to select the ore we were going to mine. Okay, so once our user has selected the ore from the list box and has pressed start, it's in this lesson when we're going to cover what the script will do depending on what the user chose. So the first thing we have to do is have a variable for each ore. So we have to have somewhere to store the IDs of tin, copper, iron, silver, and clay. So we simply do that by doing private final static int copper ID equals, I don't know the ID for the moment. This is going to be tin ID. This is going to be deleted for the moment. If you can't remember what that was about, the line I just deleted, that was the inventory ID of tin, which we don't need now. We also going to have iron ID. It's going to equal 0 for the moment. And we're also going to have clay ID, which is also going to equal 0 for the moment. Okay, so now we've got our IDs here. Theoretically, we would here fill in the values of the IDs of the rocks when we use debug view objects. In our spot, we would get all the IDs of the rocks, and we would have to write all of them here. Remember, these are curly braces, not just standard brackets. I got a question from a user today asking whether those were brackets or curly braces. They are curly braces, so not standard brackets. And once we have this, we also gonna need another variable which is not gonna be final. So this is not gonna be this is not gonna be the actual this is going to be the hard-coded variable, but this is not going to have a value until the user presses starts. So our GUI is going to assign to this variable the value of each of these arrays depending on what the user chooses. I know this might sound a bit complicated to understand right now, but trust me, as we go along, you'll catch on to that. Remember, we also need a variable where to store the ID of the ore in our inventory, so we can get the market price of that ore to calculate the profit made. So we're going to make that as well. So we are going to need two variables then, private int, and this is going to be an array, and this is ores to mine, and that's going to equal nothing. And this variable is going to get assigned these values here once the user presses start. And we also need another variable, which is going to be ore ID. It's going to equal 0 for the moment. And this variable is going to get assigned the value, the inventory ID of the ore, so we can actually calculate the price of that ore. So as well as these variables, we're also going to need something called tin ore, copper ore. We're also going to need iron ore and clay ore. And this is going to be the inventory IDs, so not the rock IDs, but the inventory IDs. These are all going to equal 0 for the moment because I don't have the values on with me right now. And so ore ID here would get assigned one of these values, and ores to mine would get assigned one of these values. And we're going to do that right now. We of course have to change tin ID to ore ID so that everything works again. And here we had ore ID, which was our initial array, and now we'll change it to ores to mine, which is going to be the array of rocks that the user has decided to mine. I know this is a bit strange for now. Trust me, it will all come together in a few minutes. And we go back to our GUI, and we're going to start coding the start button. So we're going to put here what the start button is going to do when pressed. So I've got here my ebook before me, which you can buy if you wish, and this shows you everything there is to show on basic RSL scripting. You can purchase it. You just message me asking how, and we're gonna be going through how to build a GUI, and it's pretty simple. In the start button, we have to code everything our GUI is gonna do. So here we assign variables and values of things the user chose. So here we're gonna assign to a variable of type string the item the user selected from the combo box. So for example, let's change the name to something a bit more explicit. Chosen is going to be equal to or selected, I think was the name. Yep, or selected. And this is our combo box. Now we want to access a method inside a combo box, which is, if you press the dot, you get all the methods you can use, and we're gonna get selected item. So if we go to the G and the S, get selected item, and then now we have an item, and now we want to convert it to string. So we do toString. And now we've got the selected item in string form. And this is useful because we're going to check against hard-coded string variables to see whether this string matches other variables. So let me, if chosen equals tin, let me just write it, and then iron. Ooh, I think I forgot to write silver. Okay, so that's that, and let's add silver here. And here. Okay, now we've got all of them. Sorry about that. Forgot to write silver. So, if the string the user chose from the combo box, which is tin, copper, iron, silver, or clay, so if that selection equals tin, then we're going to do something. If it equals copper, we're going to do something different. Iron would do something different. Silver would do something different. And finally, if it doesn't equal any of these, it must equal clay, so we do something different. Okay, so what if it equals tin? Where then the OR ID is going to be equal tin OR. That sounds reasonable. And yeah, mistake there. Sorry about that. Just a moment. And okay, sorry about that. We actually have to place this. Sorry. Inside here. Okay, sorry about that. My mistake there. I forgot about this. So we have to place the GUI class inside our other class, not outside. There's sometimes where you want to place it outside. If you're using this class from inside your other class, then you want to place it outside. But if you're accessing your other class from inside this class, both classes have to be inside the same class. This is a bit abstract indeed, but just remember you have to put it inside the other class and not outside. So OR ID is going to be equaling tin OR, and ORs to mine tin ID. I think it's tin ID. Yep. Okay, so now our ORs we're going to be mining are going to equal tin ID. So our ores to mine now has the ID of the tin ores. And here we ore ID equal copper ore, ores to mine equal copper ID. And now you start seeing the power of the GUI. And we can see that depending on what the user chooses, the script is automatically going to mine something different, that we don't have to recode the whole script. And actually this works as well for paths. Depending on where the user chooses to mine, we just assign one general path, a value or another, and that also allows us to walk different paths depending on what the user chooses. And here ore ID is going to be equal to iron ore, ores to mine, iron ID. Here ore ID equal silver ore, ores to mine, silver ID. And finally here, since it's not tin, copper, iron, and silver, it must be clay. That's the only rock there is apart from the ones previously mentioned. So ore ID is clay ore, ores to mine is clay ID. And that's that about the coding of the start button. Now there's only one last thing left before your GUI starts being functional. And that we're going to be covering in the next video. I think actually there might be 2 more videos on this. We're going to be covering that in the next video because it's a bit abstract, so I think we might need a bit more time than 3 minutes, which is what we've got here. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you learned something. Remember to subscribe, and you can go check out my ebook if you want maybe to check it out. I'm going to post the link in the description box so you can check that out. And that's that. I'll see you guys in the next video.